Hi! Good day to everyone. We are the Group E from BSIT 2C2D NANSEM, and we are here to discuss to you our project in the subject Computer Architecture and Organization. But first, I will introduce to you my group members and the assigned tasks to them. Renz Joal A. Borais is the developer of the system. Andrei James Pantia, assigned in the quality assurance of the system. Jersey Ann Bantaculo, assigned in the documentation such as PDF and PowerPoint file. And Angelo Silvestre, who is assigned to the video editing. So let's get started.
Hi! Good day! I am Renz Joal A. Borais from Group E, BSIT 2C, 2D, Non-STEM. Before we reveal the system that we created, I will tell you something that is related to the system that we created. Do you know the programming language called Bator? If not, watch this. Bator is a programming scripting language that is translated into a Filipino language and has a Tagalog syntax. It was created by Joal Brian Juliano, and it is based on Ruby programming language. It is called Bato because Ruby is a kind of stone, and the word Bato is the Tagalog word of stone. Here is an example of Bato programming scripting language with a Tagalog syntax. Now that you know something about our system is called Tagalog OS or Tagalog Operating System. The system that we created is an operating system based on the Micro OS kernel program in EMU8086. And to utilize the system, we implemented a file handling management to it. The unique part here is that the commands and functions that we use in the system are translated into Tagalog words. Later on in the video, the commands and functions that is translated into Tagalog words will be shown.
Hi, I am Jersey Ann Bantaculo, and now I will be discussing to you the brief description of the system that we created. The Tagalog OS is an operating system devices in an assembly language run in EMU8086 emulator. The system is utilized from the existing device, which is the Micro OS kernel in the assembly language, who is responsible for handling interrupts, running processes, and translating data processing instructions for the central processing unit. The Tagalog OS is a device on which the files in the emulator is being manipulated in the device by the use of file handle management, such as creating, writing a message, opening, and deleting a file when the program is emulated and executed. The difference is that the function and the commands in the system is translated into Tagalog words. For example, the word delete in the English is translated to burahin in Tagalog. But the functions and the use of the commands are still the same. The only difference is that the function and commands is translated into Tagalog words.
Hi, I'm Andrei James Pantia, and now I will be discussing the background information of the system that we created. The system is related to the kernel operating system. A kernel is an important part of an OS that manages system resources. It also acts as a bridge between the software and hardware of the computer. It is one of the first programs which is loaded on startup after the bootloader. The kernel is also responsible for offering secure access to the machine's hardware for various programs. Microkernel is a software or code which contains the required minimum amount of functions, data, files handling, and features to implement an operating system. It provides a minimal number of mechanisms which is good enough to run the most basic functions of an operating system. The best example of this is the file handling management on by which the file in the system can be manipulated with the help of the kernel operating system, CPU, and memory resources. Furthermore, the system includes the file handling management with the use of the DOS interrupt. DOS is an interrupt function. It is a condition that halts the microprocessor temporarily to work on a different task and then return to its previous task. And the DOS interrupt contains function to file handle and management which make it easy and make and set directory, create, rename, delete, and display the message in the file.
Hi, I am Angelo Silvestre, and now we will go to the scope and limitation of the system we created. First, the virtual device in the MU8086 that we utilize is the MicroOS kernel in the assembly language. With the help of this device, we will utilize its function and features to make our own MicroOS operating system. The MicroOS kernel will be a big help on the microsystem that we are doing, as we will use it as a base for our own system because kernel lets you to manipulate or control the file using the system. We will also use file handling to manipulate files for the basic function of the OS such as create, write, open, and delete the file. To make our OS unique among other micro OS, we will use Tagalog language to cater to Filipino users. Using this device as a base for our own system, it will become much more easier for most people because we will make it more user-friendly for the Filipino users, and we will make the system more smaller so it will not take more space than most of the system.
And now I will be discussing the capabilities of the system that we created. First, the system is capable of commanding functions in the system with the use of Tagalog words. Next is execute certain instructions about the file handling management. And the user-level instruction does not require special privilege. Example are add, push, pop, or etc. The system is capable of doing file handling management such as creating, opening, reading, writing, and deleting file in the system. The system allows implementation of special operation whose execution by the user program could interface with the functioning of operating system or activity of another user program. Also, the system calls are typically implemented in the form of software interrupts, which causes the hardware interrupt handler to transfer control over to an inappropriate interrupt handler. And next, the system is capable of operating basic functions and commands in the system. It is capable of providing memory management and allocation in the system, in which responsible for the managing and keeping tracks of the memory and addresses in the system. The following are the command functions in the system file handle management that is translated into Tagalog words. Lagayan, folder or directory path. This command function is capable of creating folder for the file. Next, gumawa or create. This command function is capable of creating file in the system. Buksan or open. This command function is capable of opening the file in the system. Palitan or rename. This command function is capable of renaming the file in the system. Burahin or delete. This command function is capable of deleting the file in the system. Linisin or clear. This command function is capable of clearing the screen of the system. Next is umalis or exit. This command function is capable of exiting the system.
And now, I will be discussing what are the things that the system cannot do. First, the system cannot execute any command if the inputted command of the user is not in the system. Second, the performance of the system can be indifferent and may lead to some problems. Third, the system will display appropriate error message if the user executed a command that is not defined in the system. Lastly, context switch or a function call needed when the drivers are implemented as procedures or processes respectively.
Values of the system that we created. Error or unknown command messages will display if the user input commands other than the choices that is displayed in the system. Memory management mechanisms like address spaces should be included in the microkernel. It also contains memory protection features. Scheduling mechanisms should contain process and thread schedulers. Inter-process communications manages the servers that runs their own address spaces. The system is case sensitive. The system only accepts Tagalog word commands that is displayed in the screen the user. The system functions are changes into Tagalog words, but the functions are still the same.
Our group encountered different technical problems, but we managed to find solutions and ways to resolve the problems. The following are the technical problems we encountered and the solution as well. First, we encountered bugs and errors in the system, but we managed to find solution to it by analyzing and understanding the part where the bugs and errors occurs in the system. Second, we also encountered freezing and lagging of the device we are using. In order to resolve it, we managed to close the application that is not necessary while we are creating the system. In order for the device to run smoothly without the interruptions and for the RAM to have a lot of space to handle the application that we are using. Third, we encountered problems in internet connectivity. In order to resolve this, some of us use data connectivity for a while to have an access in internet. Lastly, we encountered technical problems while creating the video presentation. Unfortunately, some videos are not working and corrupted. In this case, we reshoot the videos that is not working and by then we managed to finish the video presentation.
Hi! Good day! I am Renz Joal Borais and I will be discussing the demo of the system that we created entitled Tagalog OS. So let's get started. The following photos are the codes for the system we created entitled Tagalog OS. The first part of the code here is the values of the registers on load. That registers are important because that values are used for the emulator to emulate real microprocessor state. Next is this part of the codes. This codes is responsible for advancing the current cursor position in the system. Also, these codes sets the current cursor position in the system. When it comes to these codes, these are responsible for the process of the micro-OS kernel mode. That instructions were used to achieve the kernel OS in the system. These codes are the string messages that will be displayed in the system after the system is executed. As you can see, those are the commands functions for file handle management in the system. That is translated into Tagalog words. The following are the command functions in the system file handle management that is translated into Tagalog word. Lagayan or folder directory path. This command function is capable of creating folder for the file. Gumawa or create. This command function is capable of creating a file in the system. Buksan or open. This command function is capable of opening the file in the system. Palitan or rename. This command function is capable of renaming the file in the system. Burahin or delete. This command function is capable of deleting the files in the system. Linisin o clear. This command function is capable of clearing the screen of the system. And lastly, umalis or exit. This command function is capable of exiting the system. As you can see in the photo above, that is the output of the string messages, which is the list of the commands and functions that is translated into Tagalog words in the system after the system is executed. Next is the file path DB. It is a function used to set the location of the directory folder of the file. And in the last part of the function, you can see the file name of the folder, which is the directory. File name DB is also a function used for the location of the file. The first third part of that function is the location or the set directory path of the file. And in the last part of the function, that is the file name of the file, which is file.txt. New name DB. It is a function used to rename the file. And at the end of the function, you will see a name. That name is the new name that we will overwrite from the existing name of the file. So, from file.txt, we will rename the file into new file.txt. The handle DW0 is the DOS or the disk operating system. It is an interrupt file for file handling. Next is the TextDB. That function is responsible for the string of message inside the file. The string message that should be inside the file is the message, "Magandang araw sa inyo." That message will be the string message that should be inside the file. The text underscore size equals $offset text. That function is responsible for reading and counting the length and size of the string message in the file. CMD size EQ25 is the maximum size byte of the command buffer that the user will be inputted. Next is command buffer db cmd underscore size dup. It is the function for command buffers in the system. It is responsible for reading the size of the inputted command buffer. Clean underscore strdb 13,10, cmd underscore size dup. It is responsible for removing or clearing the inputted command buffer for the next input. Next is the prompt db. It is a function for prompt message in the system before the user input in the system. After you executed the system, before you input, you will see a string message, ilagay ang salita. The photo above shows the string message in the system before the user input in the system. Next is the message 1 underscore message db. This function message is displayed if the user created a directory successfully. It will show a message in the system, matagumpay na nakagawa ng folder. The photo above shows the string message after the user executed successfully the command lagayan. Next is the message 2 underscore message db. It is a function message to display in the system if the user created a file successfully. It will show a string message in the system, matagumpay na nakagawa ng file. The photo above shows the output of the string message in the system after the system is successfully executed the gumawa command. Message 3 underscore message db. It is a function message to display if the user successfully renamed the file. It will show a string message, matagumpay na napalitan ang pangalan ng file. The photo above shows the output of the string message in the system after successfully executed the palitan command. Lastly is the message 4 underscore message db. It is a function message to display if the user successfully deleted the file. After that, it will show a string message in the system, matagumpay na nabura ang file. The photo above shows the output of the string message in the system after successfully executed the burahin command. Now, we are going to the commands in the system. This part of the system looks like the declaration of the commands in the system. The arrow part in the photo above shows the declaration of the command lagayan or the directory path of the file. Under that, you will see a codes C lagayan db double quote lagayan comma 0. Under that, you will see C lagayan underscore tail. Those codes that I've mentioned are the declaration of the command for lagayan command. And those codes are similar declaration commands for the other commands in the system, such as for gumawa, buksan, palitan, burahin, linisin, at umalis. If the user inputted a command that is not in the system, it will go to the function unknown_db and display a string message wala sa nabanggit ang iyong inilagay na salita. The photo above is the code for the unknown_db. And also, the photo above shows the output of the string message in the system if the user inputted a command that is not in the system. It will print the message in the function unknown_db, which is the wala sa nabanggit ang iyong inilagay na salita. Next is move AX, CS. CS is stored in AX and AX value is fetched from CS. Move DX, AX. AX is stored in DX and DX value is fetched from AX. Move ES, AX. AX is stored in ES and ES value is fetched from AX. Next is setting the data segment, wherein push and pop is occurring. Push is from storing a constant byte from CS, and pop is retrieve the last value from DS. The integrity check. This will check the system if the system can run without any errors. After it was emulated, if the system occurs an error, the integrity check will be interrupted. These codes is for the function of waiting for any key from the user. And this function is for rebooting of the system. This function call is for clearing the screen in the system. Next is the function for printing out messages in the system. As you can see, there are 11 string messages. It is the function for the string to be displayed in the system. Earlier in the video, I showed the messages that this function is going to print. The photo above shows the functions, the codes, and the string messages that this function is going to print in the system. And the photo above is the output of the string messages when the system is executed. The JMP external loop. The system will proceed in this instruction when successfully executed. Now, we will go to the get underscore command proc near part of the system. This function will set the cursor position to the bottom of the screen. This function is the clear command line, and it is responsible for clearing the line in the system once one command is successfully executed. Next is the prompt code. This will display the prompt message when the user is going to input in the system. The photo above shows the codes for the function for the string of the prompt message in the system. And this will be the output of the prompt message in the system when executed. This command function is for the input command of the user. This function will read the buffer size of the inputted command of the user and get the string. Then, if it is successful, it will go to the get underscore command NP, which is the end of the get underscore command part of the system. Now, we will go to the process underscore cmd procnear of the code. This part of the codes is where the commands and the functions of the system takes place. Thus, this is the part of the code where the codes for the different commands and functions is being processed. This part is also where ES is set to DS, and both of them will be in the instructions of push and pop in the system. Next is the part wherein the command buffers are being compared. First is the compare of the command buffer of lagayan command or the creating a directory for the file. Leia SI command buffer. Command buffer is stored in SI. Move CX, C lagayan underscore tail. Dash offset C lagayan. C lagayan address to C lagayan underscore tail and stored in CX. Leia DI, C lagayan. C lagayan compared buffer with DI instruction. And repe CMPSB. Then JE lagayan underscore command. Proceed to lagayan underscore command after comparing command buffer and if the comparing is successful. The codes for comparing a command buffer is the same for the other commands in the system. Just like the first comparing buffer, which is the comparing buffer for lagayan command. You just have to copy that codes and change the name of the commands in the system, such as the gumawa, buksan, palitan, burahin in the codes of comparing a command buffer. This part is the commands and functions in the system. And this part will also discuss the registers and the functions in each of the commands in the system in order for the commands to work in the system. If the user inputted lagayan, it will go in this function and process the command. Lagayan command. move AH, 39H. 39H is the directory path register for creating a directory path for the file. Leia DX, file path. DX obtaining the address of file path and stored in DX. Then int 21H. The word file path calls the file path function for the location of the folder, just like what I've showed to you earlier in this video. Next is the Leia SI, message1 underscore message. Message1 underscore message stores the address to SI. And call print underscore string, instructions to display the string. The message1 underscore message display the string message when creating a directory path successfully. It will show a string message in the output of the system, matagumpay na nakagawa ng folder. Next is closing of file. Move AH, 3EH. 3EH is the closing of file register. Then move BX, handle. Handle is stored in BX. Then int 21H. Then jump process. Jump to process once the function is done and continue to input for the next choice. Take note, closing of a file doesn't mean that it will close the system or file itself, but it will close the address and data that is currently stored in the system in order not to create interruptions while the system is running. With the closing functions, the carry flag in the system will not be affected. The above photo is the output after you executed the lagayan command function. If you click the gumawa command, it will go in this function and process the command. Gumawa command. Move AH, 3CH. That is the creating file function register. Move CX, 0. CL is for file attributes and 0 is for normal file attributes. There are a lot of file attributes. The photo above are the different file attributes. 0 is for normal file. 1 is for read only. 2 is for hidden. 4 is for system. 7 is for hidden, system, and read only file. And 16 is for archive file. DX, file name. DX obtaining the address of file name and stored in DX. The file name calls the file name function for the location of the file and for the name of the file that we will be creating. Int 21H for interrupt. Move handle, AX. AX is for file handle and stored in handle. Next is writing to file. Move AH, 40H is the writing a string register. Move BX, handle. Handle is stored in BX. Then Leia DX, text. DX obtaining the address of text and stored in DX. It calls the text function that I showed you earlier in the video with the string that should be inside the file. Move CX, text underscore size. Function to call the size and the length of the string. Then int 21H. Then Leia SI, comma, message to underscore message. Message to underscore message stores the address to SI. And call print underscore string instructions to display the string. The message to underscore message is the string message that will be displayed in the output of the system after successfully executed. It will show a message matagumpay na nakagawa ng file. Next is the closing of file. Move AH, 3EH is the closing of file function register. Then move BX, handle. Handle is stored in BX. Then int 21H for interrupt. Then jump process. Jump to process once the function is done and continue to input for the next choice. The above photo is the output after you executed the gumawa command function. If you click buksan command, it will go in this function and process the command. The above photo is the output after you executed the buksan command function. If you click palitan command, it will go in this function and process the command. The above photo is the output after you executed the palitan command function. If you click burahin command, it will go in this function and process the command. The above photo is the output after you executed successfully the burahin command function. If you click linisin command, it will go in this function and process the command. The photo above shows the output after you executed successfully the linisin command function. If you click the umalis command, it will go in this function and process the command. The photo above shows the output after you successfully executed the umalis command function. And this concludes my demo in the system we created entitled Tagalog OS. I hope you learned something. Thank you for watching. Bye!